Hey everybody, welcome to the channel that takes you deep inside the San Francisco 49ers. And today, we're going to talk about the breakout player for San Francisco in 2023. For me, I believe it's going to be Drake Jackson, the defensive end, second year out of USC. If you look at what Drake Jackson did his rookie season, he had 3 sacks, struggled as the year went on. He also had a big interception in the game against the Las Vegas Raiders, which helped to seal that victory. But as the season wore on, he struggled a little bit with staying on the field. Kind of, according to the 49ers, hit that rookie wall. By the time the postseason came around, he wasn't active, was not on the field for any of the 3 postseason games for the 49ers. And John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, they talked about that. Talked about his need to add some weight, add some strength, really change his body around to be ready to play a full season in the NFL. Yesterday was day 2 of OTAs, our first day to be able to get in and actually see the veterans in action. The one day that this first week that we get to see. And I'll tell you what, Drake Jackson has done everything the 49ers said they needed to see him do in terms of adding size. He looks much bigger. He's much thicker in the upper body. His arms are massive. And then in terms of his lower body, it's a little bit harder to tell because he wasn't wearing shorts like most of the other players. But even his legs, especially in his thighs, looked like they were a little bit thicker than they were before. So it looks like Jackson's put on that additional weight and that additional muscle that they needed him to put on. And that the reason for that is to be able to hold up against those defenders, those big those offensive linemen, those big 300-pound offensive tackles that are coming out there are fighting off those double teams between a tackle and a tight end or a back and so on and so forth. You need to have that strength for your leverage. You need to have that strength to be able to move those guys around so you can get into your pass rush technique. Drake Jackson added the weight. He added the strength. A lot of times when you see guys add strength and weight, they do that at the expense of their explosiveness, their quickness, their ability to move. Not Drake Jackson. Jackson was a guy who, one of the main things about him coming out of USC was his bend, his ability to turn the edge, his ability to get off the ball quick. Yesterday during the OTA, that was on full display. I mean, he is big and he still has the speed and he still has the bend. He's able to turn the edge on a dime, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. But I think it's very similar to Talanoa Hufanga as well. Hufanga was a guy out of the same school, USC. Hufanga, they found a role for him his rookie season. He's a guy who didn't really stand out. In fact, there was a number of 49er fans who didn't think much about him because back at the beginning of last year during training camp, before training camp, I had mentioned that I felt like Talanoa Hufanga was going to be the starting free safety for the 49ers. And there was a lot of people who didn't like that. They thought that that was a bad take on my part. And Hufanga ended up going out his second season in the NFL, his first as a starter. And he was an all-pro. Now, do I think Drake Jackson's going to be an all-pro? That's going to be tough to be able to be one of the top 2 pass rushers, especially when you have Nick Bosa on the other side. Because Bosa's going to get a lot of sacks. And in order to be an all-pro, you've got to get to probably one of the top 2 guys in the league in terms of sacks. And if Bosa's ripping off 18 sacks again like he did last year, that doesn't leave very many for Jackson, especially when you add on Javon Hargrave on the other side, and if Eric Armstead's healthy, Eric Armstead as well. But Drake Jackson, he is my breakout candidate, my top guy to look for when it comes to a breakout player for the San Francisco 49ers in 2023. Like I said, he's added the weight, still got the quickness, working on those pass rush moves. His defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks, talking about his need to become, not only add the weight, but also become more consistent with his moves and with his hands and those types of things. So that's what we're going to keep an eye on throughout the OTAs and throughout training camp as we get into the season, and even in the preseason games if we get to see him in there a little bit as well. So there you have it, though. Take it for what it's worth. Drake Jackson, your 49ers breakout player of the year in 2023. That's the prediction. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If you could do me a favor, if you could hit that like button before you leave. And also, if you're new to the channel and you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the content that comes out. We'll be talking 49ers throughout the offseason. We'll be bringing you reports directly from practice along with videos as well. And any news that comes down, you can find it right here on Inside the 49ers with Jack Hammer. So Thanks a lot. Have a great evening. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, and we'll be talking with you soon.